All right. All right. Go for it, Sylvie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sylvie Charlie Karam, and I'm actually a member of WCRC, Willowdale Christian Reformed Church, an elder there, and also co-lead the Farsi ministry at Willowdale CRC alongside with my husband. We also co-lead a ministry which is also focused on serving Farsi speakers in Toronto and beyond, called Spiritual Growth Ministry. I'm blessed and honored to be here and to share some of my experience as an immigrant woman, but also as a person who is working in the community to support and to advocate for newcomers to Canada, and walk alongside them as they start their new life in Canada. So, as you may know already, newcomers to Canada often face a range of challenges as they adjust to their new life in a different country. They face different challenges, one of which can definitely be the cultural adjustment. Adapting to a new culture, customs, and social norms can be overwhelming. Differences in language, communication styles, and daily practices may also pose initial challenges. And sometimes, from what I have experienced, they also might experience a culture shock because the culture is so different than the culture that they have been accustomed to in their own home countries. The second important one that I would mention here is employment barriers. Many newcomers struggle to find employment that matches their qualifications and experience. Recognition of their foreign credentials, lack of Canadian work experience, and language barriers can also hinder their job search efforts. The other challenge that I would emphasize on is housing issues. Securing affordable and suitable housing can be challenging, especially in high demand urban areas. Limited knowledge of the local rental market and financial constraints may contribute to housing difficulties. Another important challenge is the social isolation. Newcomers may experience feelings of isolation and loneliness, particularly if they lack a support system. Building new social connection, understanding community dynamics, and overcoming language barriers are essential for integration. That's why, in my opinion, it's very important to be very mindful and sensitive of these needs, especially their social integration and that kind of isolation that they are experiencing when supporting and working with newcomers. The other main challenge, I would say, is access to services. It's not easy for them to navigate the Canadian healthcare and education systems, and that can be complex for newcomers. Understanding available services, accessing healthcare, and enrolling children in schools may pose initial difficulties. Financial strain is another big challenge for newcomers to Canada. Financial challenges often arise as newcomers establish themselves in Canada. Limited access to credit, unfamiliarity. Can, can you edit this?
No,
Unfamiliarity with the banking system and the high cost of living in some areas can contribute to financial stress. One thing that we also need to consider is that some of them, although subtle, but may experience discrimination and prejudice. Some newcomers may encounter legal and immigration issues. Some newcomers might not be understanding the Canadian immigration laws and regulation because they are complex already. So navigating the application process for permanent residency or citizenship requires careful attention to detail. Another challenge for newcomers is just being aware of the healthcare system in Canada. Newcomers may face challenges in understanding and accessing healthcare services, cultural differences in healthcare practices, and a lack of awareness about preventing care may impact their overall health and the outcomes. A main and major barrier for newcomers is the language barrier. For those not fluent in English and or French in Canada, language barriers can impede effective communication and integration. Limited language proficiency can affect various aspects of daily life, including employment, social interactions, and accessing services. While all these challenges are very common, but newcomers will definitely be able to overcome them with time. Support from the community organizations, support from us as churches, as ministries is crucial in order to be able to help them navigate all these new challenges that they are facing. So it's important to walk alongside them. It's important to be patient with them. It's important to be listening to their concerns. And in order to be able to support them, it's also important for us to be able to bridge them to other services that we are aware of in our communities. And just being able to be there for them, to listen to them, is a major part of us helping them to overcome these challenges. Of course, there are many other challenges that newcomers might face based on their backgrounds, based on their cultures, again, more specifically, because there are some challenges that are more kind of connected to the culture, more specific culture you come from. For example, as for me, for us dealing with Farsi speaking or people coming from Iran, we do face other challenges. We do see other challenges that they're facing along their path to integration into the Canadian society. So that's also another important aspect that we need to take into consideration. We need to make sure that we are sensitive to their cultural needs as well. There are some cultural norms that are for them very, very new. And so we need to be patiently teaching them because at many occasions, from my experience again, I see that sometimes all of us, of course, we're on a learning journey, but we need to be able to unlearn what we have learned before and relearn it again. So learning is a major part of how we can support them in order to integrate smoothly in their new society, in their new home. And for us, it's also crucial to know that they are human beings, but they're also, especially if they're new believers, they're also our brothers and sisters. So we need to make them understand that we're here to support them in any way. And that, I feel, that would be definitely a blessing for them, and they will appreciate. And in time, they will also learn to overcome their challenges and integrate smoothly in their new homeland. Thank you for your attention, and God bless you.
Sylvie, I just appreciate your sharing here. We actually have another minute or so. So Sylvie and her husband Nasser joined the Willowdale Christian Reformed Church, which isn't far from Grace Scarborough. And I don't want to tell your story too much, but Nasser comes from a Muslim background. Is that correct? Yeah, and
Yes,
became a Christian in Iran.
yes,
And I think if we think about reaching a certain culture around Grace Scarborough, it's a little different. I think sometimes in the West, we think, well, historically, we thought, well, people from Muslim background are very, very difficult to reach.
yeah,
And yet, I heard in a report at classes just a couple of days ago that there have been 200 baptisms at Willowdale Christian Reformed Church of people from Iran. So
yeah.
I know it's so much you could share, but what are some of the ways that not some of the ways, but what's the difference? Like we thought it was impossible that Muslims could become Christians. Been the real
Um,
difference?
yeah, I think, John, it depends on the culture and the background of where the Muslim sort of community is coming from. Some Muslim communities, as you know, there's prejudice. There's a lot of prejudice happening, and they're very closed in receiving anything. So we need to be, of course, God will pave the way for us, but we need to be sensitive to that. Some cultures, like my culture, coming from Iran, where the things that are happening in Iran, the socioeconomic situation, I think it's very negative, but I think that God is also using it for them to open their eyes and also seek that love, the love that they're missing, that sense of belonging that they're missing, and the freedom they can experience in Jesus Christ is something that they're longing for. So, the field is fertile, so to speak, for us to approach them because their hearts are open now. And again, it all depends on how we approach them. Because if we approach them with that love that we get from Jesus, and we share it with them, that love will grow in their hearts. And that alone will open their eyes and open their hearts. So I'm not saying here again that it's easy to approach someone coming from a Muslim background. It's not going to be easy, but when you share the love of Christ, when the Holy Spirit works within you and within them, that will make a huge difference. We always pray for the newcomers we serve. We always try to support them. There are material needs that they come with. So Jesus said, I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me water. And so we try to do our best to do the same thing, to be Jesus' hands and feet in the communities we serve. And I'm sure that, that seed that we plant in the hearts of people will grow, and the Holy Spirit will work within them. So I think approaching it with a open, graceful, and loving posture is going to be crucial for us to be able to reach out, to make that personal connection and build that trust in order to be able to gain their trust and then walk alongside them as they're exploring this really new way of life, this hope that they are coming to, because so many of them are coming from hopeless situations where there's war, where there's persecution. So they're longing for that love, that attention that we as Jesus' hands and feet can give them.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing just all your different insights, and certainly that ultimate message. I certainly have heard that from Nasser too. It's like we gotta love them. We gotta love them in practical ways and keep loving them as time goes by. So thank you so much. I'm gonna
Thank
sign
you.
off for now. So don't leave yet, but
No, I won't. Thank you
keep it
so
safe.
much, John. My pleasure, and all the best to everyone from Redeemer who is actually listening to this and starting to kind of work in their community as well. My blessings and my prayers are with you.